Let's bring in our health correspondent, Nicola Hill from London. Nicola, what's going on here? Because there seems to be enough evidence, or at least enough doctors and scientists saying that these vaccines are safe. So why do so many people seem unwilling to get the vaccine once it's widely available?
Yeah, that's a really good question, isn't it? I think probably because, Rachel, you and I have been discussing this the whole of the year since the pandemic began, and we have been following the science, to use the expressions that are being used by politicians at the moment, and so we know the research that's been going on, the amazing way that the scientific community globally has come together. But it seems a lot of the public are just aware of that one fact, which one of the people said in Istanbul when we did these Vox Pops, that basically you normally hear that it takes 10 years to develop a vaccine. So how come one that's been developed in 9 months can be safe? And that was why I spoke to Professor Hunter, whom you just heard from then. And he says the main reason that it takes so long for vaccines to be developed is simply because you have to get up the protocol, you have to recruit the volunteers, you have to get the funding. Of course, what's been happening here is that billions of dollars have been given by governments worldwide, have been given to the pharmaceutical companies. You've had thousands of altruistic volunteers who've decided that they'd take part in the trials. You've got trial sites set up globally in lots and lots of different countries and lots of different sites within those countries. And importantly, you've had what's called a rolling review, which is the regulatory authorities monitoring the vaccine trials as they've been going along, rather than waiting until everything's ready, then they start sifting through all the science. So that has helped speed things up. But what Dr. Salali said is that a lot of people are influenced by cognitive biases. She said only 3% of the people that they surveyed were completely against vaccines. Most of these people were infected, or affected rather, by something called intuitive bias, which is if you think that having part of a virus put inside you in a vaccine, whether it's the genetic code or whatever, intuitively you think that can't be right. So that's why you're hesitant about taking a vaccine. Although if you think about the vaccines we've all been taking throughout our lives, they are often given with a weakened or an inactivated form of a virus. But that's one of the elements that's affecting people. And the other one is something called omission bias, which is when it's simply easier just to not do anything. I mean, in my household, that's often the washing up with my kids. But, you know, it's easier not to do anything. So again, it's easier not to go and get the vaccine. And that is why she thinks a lot of people are hesitant. And then, of course, you have got the gentleman whom we spoke to, who was worried about his long-term fertility. And you know what will happen in the future. But Professor Hunter said, really, you've got to look at the risk. Do you want to risk getting the virus, it having long-term effect or even killing you, or risk a vaccine that hopefully is going to be safe? Obviously, it will go through complete regulatory approval before it's licensed. And that really is why people are so hesitant.
It's all very interesting. All right, Nicola Hill in London, thank you.